Elijah Bright TV.
I did a video on the Jesse Williams speech. As I said before, his speech was very on point. Lots of people supported it. Justin Timberlake supported it, even though his tweet received backlash because he was basically saying that we're all humankind. Even Samuel Jackson came out and said that his speech was very, that was a good speech and that it kind of reminded him of like the 1960s activists and everything. But as I said in my last video, his speech received backlash. Tommy Lauren or however you pronounce her name, she had a problem with the speech. I already talked about that in the last video. You can check that out right here. Other countless Caucasians all around America had a problem with his speech, saying that it was full of hate or whatever. I mean, that's not a surprise to me. The problem that I'm having is the fact that you have black people and you have mixed people who you would expect to identify with the struggles of the black community at the hands of white supremacy, and they're sitting back sympathizing. They're basically sympathizing and saying that his speech was so full of hate and oh my goodness, he shouldn't have said that. I'm talking about you, Stacey Dash. Stacey, why don't you just go ahead and dash out of the media? You and Raven Simone and Charles Barkley. It amazes me how you have colored people who have negative things to say about some of their own people feeling the need to stand up for the rights of the people that are being done wrong in this country, which is the African American. It's almost as if y'all forget the blackness that your DNA contains in favor of white supremacy. My thing is this: if you're a white person who has a problem with somebody having a problem with Tamir Rice being shot down in the streets, you know, the little 12-year-old boy who was brutally murdered within 2 seconds when the cops did a drive-by on him, then you're just nothing but a straight-up bigot racist. And if you're a black person who has a problem with somebody having a problem with Tamir Rice, the little boy that I just described, being shot down in the streets, then you're just nothing but a steppin' fidget coon. It's really funny too because Stacey Dash had the nerve to compare Jesse Williams to a Hollywood plantation slave. Oh, the irony. Stacey Dash is quoted saying, quote, "I've said it before and I'll say it again. BET is keeping racism and segregation alive, and this past Sunday's awards show proves it," Dash writes. Particularly the speech given by Grey Anatomy's star Jesse Williams, whose tirade after receiving the 2016 BET Humanitarian Award for his black activism was nothing short of an attack on white people. Okay, so like I said in my last video, Jesse Williams, he basically condemned the police force for always somehow managing to de-escalate and disarm white people who pose a threat to law enforcement, but at the same manner, basically I'm gonna quote what I said. Basically, let me reference what I talked about in my last video. Jesse Williams, in his speech, he basically talked about police brutality and how, you know, how they have double standards and everything when they deal with white people. Statistics and data shows that they always manage to de-escalate and disarm white civilians who pose a threat to law enforcement. Whereas in another manner, it seems as though black kids and old black women and just black people in general who pose no threat whatsoever to law enforcement are the ones getting killed. Basically said, if we don't get equality, that we're gonna have to restructure their function in our country. Big deal. Jesse Williams also talked about whiteness, this invention called whiteness, and how it's appropriating our culture and gentrifying our genius and trying on our culture like a robe and then discarding our bodies like rinds of strange fruit. In which what he said is the truth. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, growing up, I thought rock and roll was a white style of music. I thought white people came up with rock and roll. I also thought they came up with pop and jazz music as well. And I also came to even believe that white people were the originators of blues music. But they don't teach us the real history of our own culture, that we were the ones that invented such things. And so his statement about white people or this invention called whiteness appropriating our culture, that's not a false statement. That really is what's going on. If you look at hip hop music today and you compare it to back then, you had people like Tupac and Left Eye and Missy Elliott and all these black faces who were behind the invention of hip hop music. But then it's like you look at hip hop music now and you see people like Iggy Azalea, and you see, let me correct that, Iggy Afakila, and you see people like Mac Miller or Macklemore or Eminem, or if you look at R&B music, you see Justin Timberlake. Those are the people that you see at the forefront of black music and black culture these days. You gotta look at it from the perspective of a black man. It's like, if you look at black people and how we've been treated in this country since we got here on them slave ships, we've been treated like utter trash. We've been condemned back then as being subhuman primates, and then now we're condemned as thugs and criminals. And so, but then you look and you see our culture and all of our inventions and all of our genius and concepts and fashion and everything that we do is being appropriated and then taken on into white culture as if it originated in white culture. But then they're turning around and still treating the originators of all of this great stuff that America holds to be proud of, and they're looking at the people who invented such things like they're the scum of the earth. So Stacey Dash and Tommy Lauren, or whatever your name is, y'all are making it seem as though this man came out in a full-blown attack against white people. Let me tell you what an attack is, okay? An attack is when you're driving down your street with your family and then you see a bunch of guys with ghost robes on, with the little cone hats, running out with burning crosses, trying to catch them a nigger to burn on fire. That's what an attack is, okay? All this stuff, y'all crack me up how y'all throw terms like attack or y'all make it seem as though it's so much violent hatred against white people because somebody has a problem with white people doing the dirty things that they do to other people. And y'all are making it seem like people are just coming against white people in droves. Like it's just a massive, like with the Star Wars film of last year, people accused the Star Wars franchise of trying to promote genocide against white people because they had a lead character as a black man. I also want to address the fact that Stacey Dash said that the very existence of BET, in which honestly I don't really care for BET. I think it is a bunch of ignorance. Just a bunch of butt shaking and just stupid films on stupid hood stuff that go on in the hood. But still, Stacey Dash, you're making it literally seem as if the fact that black entertainment television exists is just as racist as the fact that black people were hung and lynched and raped and slaughtered all the time back in the day. You're making it seem as if it's the same type of racism and hatred when it's not comparable. BET's existence is not what's keeping racism and segregation alive. You want to know what's keeping racism and segregation alive? Is white people like Zimmerman or Darren Wilson, or the cops that shot Tamir Rice, or the white people who hold black people back and don't hire them and don't allow black kids scholarships into schools, and all kinds of biased racistness that white people exhibit. That's what's keeping racism and segregation alive. Here's something else that cracks me up about like ignorant black people here in America and the bigot white people of America. They'll look at somebody who might not be pro-LGBT. So in other words, they're probably conservative Christians or Muslim or something like that, and they don't believe that two men or two women should be locking lips or whatever, right? And they'll see this guy being a little standoffish to the homosexual guy that's walking up on him, looking at him, smiling at him all inappropriate, and so like, bro, chill. I don't like the way you looking at me, And they'll look at him and say, "Oh my God, you're so full of hatred. He's a human being just like you. You're discriminating against his rights." But then you will look at somebody like Tamir Rice, a little boy who looked just like he could be my little brother or something. You'll turn around and look at him and say, "Well, he shouldn't have been out there looking like a thug." It's like I said before, it's got to be like some mental retardation over here in the waters of America or something. You know, maybe it's something going on in this water over here, because a lot of the people here are just like straight up retarded or something. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Stacey Dash's thoughts on Jesse Williams' speech. As I said before, Jesse Williams, your speech was on point, and to all the Stacey Dashes and the other people who sit back and they look at all the wrong that's being done over here in America at the hands of white supremacy, yet they defend it, y'all should just stay out the media. Like, just stay away from it. Don't even go nowhere near a camera. Don't take no selfies. Matter of fact, give me your cell phone so I can break it, because you don't need to be taking no selfies. You don't need to be posting no tweets. You don't need to be posting no Facebook statuses. Just move out there. Why don't you move to the Himalayan mountains and go, just go to the Tibetan mountains or something and just drop off the face of the earth. Go out there, become a Buddhist monk or something, and start meditating on how much of a retard you are. Anyways, I'm finished. You can hit the subscribe button, or you can unsubscribe, or you can dislike, or you can like the video. It doesn't matter to me. Also, comment if you want to. And then, last but not least, share it on Twitter or on Facebook or Google Plus or whatever you're on these days. Alright, shalom.